Did you know that 88% of all women-owned businesses generate less than $100K yearly, and only 4.2% of women hit $1 million in annual revenue? Well, Cubicle to CEO is a media company elevating the financial footprint of women entrepreneurs through their award-winning podcast of the same name, digital programs, live events, and community of 50,000 plus. Their mission is to make mentorship more accessible to masses so all women everywhere can pursue what's possible. Personally, listening to other entrepreneurs and changemakers has been a huge motivation in my life. Now, that's part of why I joined the Gen Zers to Ride podcast to hear and learn from others. Cubicle to CEO, hosted by Ellen Yin, is a weekly show bringing you case study interviews with leading entrepreneurs and CEOs so you can borrow a specific new revenue growth strategy from each guest that has already been successfully implemented in their own business. Skip the expensive and time-consuming learning curve of testing what actually works by learning from the best and brightest business mentors every Monday. You'll especially love Ellen's transparent quarterly income report episodes where she shares exactly what her media company makes, spends, and profits every 90 days. Listen to episode 125 on Cubicle to CEO and get a detailed breakdown of the 7 revenue streams that generated $746,000 for her business in 2021. Want to borrow the best income growth strategies from top entrepreneurs and CEOs, including Ellen herself? You can binge listen to past income reports on Cubicle to CEO today. Plus, receive free access to your first $10K a month masterclass and a bonus workbook by going to our special link, zen.ai/GenZCEO. And that's zen.ai/GenZCEO. Hello, everyone. I'm Kennedy.
And I'm Vasilis.
We run Changemaker Z, a student-run initiative that aims to empower, educate, and connect Gen Zers interested in entrepreneurship.
We interview teenagers with impactful projects and create resources to help you change the world. If they can do it, so can you.
On this podcast, we discuss the logistics of creating different types of projects with Gen Zers who have already done it. We will leave our social media and website information in the description. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Gen Zers to Rise. Today, we have Logan Guleff, an author, entrepreneur, and chef. He won Masterchef in 2014 and was featured in Time magazine as one of the 30 most influential teens. In addition to that, Logan won a Teen Choice Award in 2019. Okay, so I have a question. Would you say that you have like a bougie palate, like you only eat kind of like more higher end food, or are you enjoying Taco Bell every now and again?
I'll be honest, I eat quite a bit of Taco Bell. I'm not a snob, you know, that's a common misconception is, you know, chefs are all, you know, once they get good, they're all snobby and they're all like, well, you know, this was not good, great. I cannot eat it. This is garbage, you know. You know how they are. And, you know, I do have those moments, not gonna lie. That happens to me sometimes. But, you know, I still chat out on Taco Bell. I still eat mom's cooking. I can understand the flaws in dishes and things and move past it, you know. After a certain point, you have to accept it as, you know, well, this is the best I'm going to get. And is it perfect? No. Do I know it's not perfect? Yeah. Can I make it perfect? Probably. Do I want to? No. So once you go through those checklists, then you can kind of get there. And yeah, I mean, I would say I'm not too snobby. I mean, I eat fast food. I eat what I have to. And, you know, I like what I like. I like, you know, sushi. I like Japanese food. I like good food. You know, if it's done right, you know, it can be simple. One time I had this salad, and the salad dressing was perfectly balanced between oil and vinegar. And I think he had like some kind of herbs in it, some fresh herbs. And it was just the perfect balance. And it was just a salad dressing with a sandwich. And the sandwich was pretty good too. But sometimes it's just understanding the quality of simplicity that really makes me happy. And that's something that I look for. You know, I do get disappointed by food pretty often, and it's just kind of a fact of it. And, you know, do I enjoy eating all the time? No, not really. You know, there's some times I look at it, I'm like, oh man, what happened here? We got this pizza. You took it out of the oven because you forgot the pepperoni. You put the pepperoni on. You put it back in the oven. I can tell. I know how it's done. I know what happened. So, like, come on, man. But other times, you know, I can enjoy food and I can, you know, have a shawarma, have a gyro, have whatever it is, and just be like, man, this is delicious. This is great. You know, the balance is good. And sometimes, you know, I at Popeyes, you know, I do the Mardi Gras mustard, chicken tenders, mild red beans and rice. You know, I got my orders down. I don't really do a lot of McDonald's. You know, McDonald's is one of those ones that's kind of iffy for me. You know, sometimes I gotta kind of be in a mood for McDonald's to be able to be like, okay, I'll do it. But I can do Taco Bell. I can do, you know, Popeyes.
The mood for McDonald's is always just like late at night or like, I feel like when you've been having
like
a bad
road
day.
trip.
Yeah.
Like, you know, mom says, oh, well, you know, we're at exit number 55 here and the next one's in, you know, 10 miles. Are you hungry? And you're like, man, looks like I'm getting, you know, quarter pounder deluxe.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I kind of want to talk about your technology era. You recently became the first chef to offer an NFT dining experience, and we've all seen how popular NFTs have become lately. Why did you decide to be a part of this world?
Well, I feel like, you know, since I'm always trying to be on the cutting edge of food and I'm always trying to, you know, push the envelope of recipes, push the envelope of food and try to make, you know, really good dishes, really fun flavors, really kind of keeping everything fresh all the time. I realized, like, you know, NFTs are a great opportunity. You know, they're an opportunity to see how food fits in with, you know, art and technology. And, you know, that was kind of what I thought. And so I was like, well, you know, there's all these NFTs. They're going crazy. Taco Bell put out an NFT, so I got to put out an NFT. You know, if Taco Bell puts out an NFT of a taco, like, all right. that was the moment that got me. When I saw that, I was like, all right, I'm going to do my own. Because, you know, if you can have a Taco Bell NFT, you can have a Logan NFT. And, you know, I think I probably should make some more. But, you know, one of the things about the NFT world is, you know, it's very different because you got a lot of different people talking into it. And there's a lot of, you know, rug pulls and stuff. And I read quite a lot about it. I watch quite a lot of videos about it. And, you know, there's a lot of, you know, that internet culture that goes in between, you know, gaming and NFTs and cryptocurrency. And then, you know, the cryptocurrency bros are all like investors, like trying to make money and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, I'm making all this money. And then you've got the gamers who are just like, you know, you're co-opting our technology. This is our stuff. You know, the blockchain's cool and all that. And you know, we're into like hacking and virtual PCs and Linux and all that kind of stuff. And we're doing the Bitcoin miners and now we're buying up all the graphics cards. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't buy a laptop because everybody's buying the graphics cards. So there's no graphic cards to put in my laptop. Oh my God, this sucks. So, you know, for me at least, I think, you know, making an NFT and you know, putting food in there from the get-go, it's cool. It's different. And that's kind of what I wanted to do.
As you said, there are different goals for the use of NFTs. We had a guest talking about social tenants application, that they were offering NFTs in exchange to promote, you know, organic food or actions that can be taken to preserve the environment. And like your approach is much different. You wanted to try it, to figure out how the world is moving on with this technology.
Yeah, and one of the things about it is, you know, I can kind of see a world where, you know, we're all plugged into the Matrix and you know, if you buy one of my dishes and I'm either, you know, dead or something, then you have a limited dish and then it shows up in the virtual world and you're eating my food and you bought this very specific meal and I see people enjoying it. And it's just one of those things that, you know, if you don't like start at the ground floor and like start to play around in it, then there's no way that you're going to get to the point where, you know, you're fully in the virtual reality and you have your food being served and auctioned and sold and traded. You know, oh yeah, well, you know, I've got 2 Gordon Ramsay dishes and I'll trade you the beef Wellington, my copy of beef Wellington, for your copy of Logan's beef salad. And we're going to do this trade. You know, I see that as being one of the futures of where food could go. and how it can fit into the metaverse and virtual reality and once it gets there. So I think by, positioning food already kind of in the conversation, it really allows a lot more fun. Also, when you're talking about the metaverse and you're talking about all this stuff, one of everybody's favorite things to do is to go to a restaurant. So of course you're going to want to go to a virtual restaurant. And so then are you going to have a virtual restaurant chain of Logan's restaurants that are made just to be visited in the metaverse, and then you get this meta food, and what does that look like, and how would that work? And so by starting and getting your feet wet and saying, well, I know this isn't really the most right now, but it's a start. And to be at the start of the start is really where you want to be. So that's kind of what I see and how I'm positioning myself to get there. So it's not really entirely about, oh yeah, I've got this NFT dining experience. It's more of, well, if I start playing around with NFT dining experiences, then eventually I'll get to the point where I'll have more. And I'll already have worked with the systems. I'll already have experience. I'll already be right where I want to be. So I just see it as kind of putting a small seed in the future, as, is this going to happen? It could not happen, It's all just kind of a big question mark as to, what's going to happen with it. So by saying, all right, I'll buy a couple of Bitcoin now. We'll see what happens, and maybe it'll grow into what Bitcoin grew into.
Yeah, exactly. Metaverse is a huge conversation. Many things can become true, and I love your passion about how you can integrate food to this virtual world. I can't wait to see it become a reality one day. And we're arriving in my favorite questions. What are your plans for the future? Do you have any exciting new projects coming soon?
Well, right now, I am going to college out in California, and that's very fun. So I am doing that, and I'm working on stuff. Always trying to get the ball rolling on things, and I'm working on this summer camp, which is going to be pretty fun. It's this Baiju summer camp, and I'm just doing a little cooking demonstration and cooking lesson for kids this summer. It's going to be really great. And, just trying to keep at it, keep making recipes, keep doing what I'm doing. That's one of the big things about, cooking is that you got to keep on it. You always have to have a new dish. You always have to make something. And it adds a certain amount of creativity and fun. And, with cooking projects, each one has a different goal. So sometimes it's to make something easy to make. Sometimes it's just to make something super delicious. Sometimes it's to make something that's replicatable. And sometimes when you're in the process of doing this, you come across something that's really amazing. And then you're like, oh man, I can't give that away. That happens to me quite a bit, because I'll be creating, and I'll be like, all right, well, this is too good to give away. So I got to keep it. So I got to come up with something else to give away. So, oh my God, what am I going to do now? So I sometimes do my creative 2 or 3 times, because I just come up with something. I'm like, oh man, that is so good. And I'm like, well, do I want that for a future restaurant, a future food truck? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of do. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do about it? And I'm like, oh man, I gotta remake this. I gotta start again. And so I start again, and then I'm like, all right, well, this is good enough. All right, I can give this away. Or maybe I'll come up with another thing that I just love, and I'm like, oh no. So it does happen like that. And, I have some dreams for, getting my spice blends out there, just kind of getting some products, doing some stuff. A lot of things about, the business side of it is you never know what's going to come through and what falls through, So you can talk about something, and then all of a sudden, at the last minute, contract vanishes, company goes under. You're like, oh my God, I hyped this up for so long, and then boom, gone. So it's one of those things that you have to keep in mind as a creator, as somebody dealing with the business aspect of it, that, sometimes things fizzle out, sometimes things don't happen, and to understand and accept that. And I think that that's something that's pretty hard for a lot of, people still trying to get into it, is to realize oh man, I'm just so bummed out that this happened, or this didn't happen, that it's very hard to recover. So I think that's one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give to people is, don't always 100%, buy into it. Like, buy into it, but don't always, hedge all your bets on one thing coming through, because sometimes it might not. And, I think it's something that, I struggled with in the beginning, and I think a lot of people struggle with understanding and accepting that, oh, well, maybe this won't pan out. So that's one of the things is you might have, 10 projects in the works, but maybe only one of them sees the light of day. So that's just kind of how it is.
Well, okay. I had 2 quick questions really quick. So
all right.
what are you going to school for?
All right. So I'm going to school for just a business degree because I think
that's what I was thinking. Like,
gives you the most flexibility. Yeah. And I just kind of wanted to kind of say, like, well, you can trust me with your money. I know what I'm doing. I can run a restaurant. That's kind of one of the biggest things is, to say, well, I'm a very talented chef, but, let's say that I want to go back to cooking just for my own fun. If I have a business degree, I can, maybe get a day job, maybe do something boring like that, and then, do something else on the side. Or, maybe it's one of those key pieces that can help me, build up into, my dreams of, having a lot of spices, having restaurants, having, cookware, all those big, big dreams. They take little building blocks. And I think, business degree is probably the best building block I can get from college right now.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, that makes sense. I'm like, there's no way he's going to get like 4 more years of like culinary school. You don't need it.
Definitely not. Everyone always thinks that. And that's probably the biggest misconception is, they always think like, oh, Logan, you're going to go to culinary school, right? You're going to culinary school. Well, no, I'm not going to culinary school. I don't want to go to culinary school.
He's been in culinary school for his whole life.
Well, culinary school teaches you a lot about discipline and a lot about technique. But, one of the things that it also does is it teaches you the rules of cooking. And one of the things that I do is I cook without rules. I cook without boundaries. And to me, there's nothing like, oh, well, Logan, these ingredients don't go together. I've had chefs tell me that all the time. All the time I've heard that. All this won't work. All this doesn't go. You can't put these flavors together. I'm like, watch. I'll do it.
Ooh, I like that.
So, I've been doing that for a long time. And so one of the things about culinary schools does teach you like, well, this doesn't go with that and that doesn't go with this. And white wine goes with fish. And it's like, well, but what if I want to make red wine with fish? How am I going to go about that? And that's kind of the challenging nature that I bring to food and kind of my attitude with it. So I don't think culinary school is for me. That might change. I never know. But it's probably the one thing that I get asked the most is like, oh, Logan, you're going to culinary school? I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't want to
go. No. Switch it up on them, You never let them know your next move. Okay, and the last thing, you were talking about, you're doing this camp for kids. What's the age range you're looking at?
That's going to be about, I think that's like 9 or 8 to 18 or
9
something.
Or 8? Oh, 8 to 18.
Yeah, it's a pretty large range. And it's pretty cool. They're doing a bunch of other creators, presenters and stuff, but I'm doing it. It's pretty fun. Doing 3 dishes demonstration. It's going to be great. And, that's one of the things that I like to do is I do some cooking classes. I do a lot of demonstrations. I do a lot of cooking. And I love it. So, if I can get, anyone to just kind of follow their passion for food or follow their passion for anything, then that'll be great.
Yes. Well, okay. Where is it going to be? Well, it's not launched yet, but it's coming soon.
It's Byju's summer camp, and of course,
Byju's.
Yeah, follow me on social media too. I gotta say that these days, but
yes.
I really need to be more dedicated to my social media. But we all have our areas of media. We all have our areas of improvement. So at least mine isn't always food. Sometimes it's content creation, video editing. You never know what you need to know to do this stuff. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm shooting this cooking video and I have to edit it. oh my God, I got to learn Final Cut Pro. And you're like, oh my God. And then you're down the rabbit hole, and then boom. Now you're a video editor, and you're like, oh my God, I've learned all these tips and tricks and transitions and cuts and zoom in, fade out, do this, do that. And then I'm like, oh my God, maybe I should just be a video editor now. I know enough. Let me just put myself on Fiverr or something. Video editor for hire, $50 an hour or whatever.
Start that YouTube channel. Start a YouTube.
Yeah. I should do more with my YouTube, but I do have some animated videos that I've done on the YouTube that are pretty funny, I think. So you can check those out.
Well, guys, I think that is the end of today's episode. It was such an honor to feature Logan on our show today. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your passion with us. And guys, Logan Guleff is an inspiring young chef for all the ages, awarded with multiple awards. We're going to include Logan's social media handles in the description below. And guys, you heard that 8 to 18. I know a lot of our listeners are like 15 to 18. So check it out. We're going to put his social media down below if you're interested at all. And do not forget to install the Changemaker Z app and access exclusive experience and Gen Z articles directly from your favorite smart device. A new update with new features is coming out soon, both on iOS and Android. Till next time, do not forget to change the world. Bye. Thank you guys for listening. We hope you enjoyed our conversation. We had such a great time. Make sure to leave us a review. If you want more Changemakers content, you can follow us on Instagram at Gen Zers to Rise and on Facebook at Changemaker Z.